Boy, this countdown sure lasts a long time, but there's plenty to get to here about the Texans. Let's get into it. I forgot how long this little intro video is. Welcome into the channel. Let's talk some Texans. I'm Cody Stoots. Woohoo! Woo! What a performance at NRG Stadium by the Houston Texans today. 39-37, CJ Stroud doing incredible things with the football. Let him cook is what everybody's been saying all week. Well, that was a Michelin star performance from Chef CJ as the Texans, with 46 seconds left on the clock, march down the field and get the game-winning score against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to move to 4-4. A ton to get into, primarily about the incredible quarterback play that CJ Stroud put together. The good and the bad from this, your comments as well. It is a blast talking about this team after a game like that. My word. What do you think about it? Get into the comment section, which way the comment section is on the video. Get in the comment section. Get in live with the link at the top of the comment section, audio or video. If you want to talk about it, super chats go to the front of the line. Where else do we start? 30 of 42 for 470 yards, which is a rookie record. 5 touchdowns on the day through the air. My goodness, CJ Stroud. What an incredible performance. What a legendary moment in a young career for CJ Stroud. I think back to some of the performances that Deshaun Watson had as a rookie, and it was in a similar vein to this one, where the defense just couldn't get that key stop. It just felt like so often the opposing team's offense had the ball at the very end, and the defense couldn't come up with it. Well, the Texans were that way against the Atlanta Falcons. The Texans were that way against the Carolina Panthers, and it looked like they were about to be that way against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. And then CJ Stroud and this offense get the ball back, 46 seconds left on the clock, and they go out there and put together one of the most impressive scoring drives you'll watch in the NFL this year. That's one of the most impressive scoring drives you will see in the entirety of the National Football League this year. To go in there with 46 seconds on the clock, and those first two plays, you get 20 yards and burn both your timeouts. You get 20 yards and burn both your timeouts, and you got all this room in front of you that you got to get through. You got no timeouts. You can't kick the field goal. You got to score the touchdown. You didn't even have a kicker in this game. And this performance by CJ Stroud, and to hear him talk about it postgame and all the little things that went into it. Like, for instance, Stroud tells us postgame that he told Noah Brown, hey, cut this route short. I'm going to get you the ball, get the yards after catch. Then we'll spike it. What does he do? Boom, Noah Brown gets open, big catch and run. They spike it. And then as he's getting hit, CJ drops it over on the sideline to Tank Dell. He didn't even see the result of the play. He says all he hears is the crowd roaring because, he knows Tank caught it. They go to the sideline, and it's a play that they ended up putting in on the sideline that they haven't worked on since training camp. Slowick, in the flow of the game, decides that's what they need to run. Touchdown, Tank Dell. Texans win. I mean, it's the whole drive is a masterclass for how you operate when you've got good quarterback play, when you've got great quarterback play. You trust the guy. He adjusts things for the wide receivers. Those guys get open. He makes them better. Noah Brown's a freaking afterthought heading into the Houston Texans season. And he is a legitimate contributor on a regular basis thanks to CJ Stroud's ability to get him the ball, thanks to Bobby Slowick's ability to scheme Noah Brown into this offense. He's a legitimate contributor at a high level for this team. That whole final drive, from the offensive line protecting to the plays they decided to run to Tank Dell being a freaking monster, okay? We talked about the unguardable Tank Dell in training camp. We'd seen it a couple of times here in the regular season. That was the unguardable Tank Dell. You know who the ball's going to. The ball's going to Nico Collins or Tank Dell, and the Buccaneers couldn't stop him. To Bobby Slowick dialing it up, to calling back to a play they hadn't practiced since training camp in a key moment, to C.J. Stroud making all the throws. My goodness. What a performance. What a play by C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell to wrap that thing up. Great job. Just a great job. And it has to give you so much confidence as a team that you're never out of the game. They had 46 seconds left, had to score a touchdown. You're not out of the game. Like there's no, like, what scenario would you feel like, yeah, the Texans have no chance, no shot? Because that was close to one of them. It's like, yeah, okay, they might get a couple yards. They get 20 yards and burn 2 timeouts. It's like, well, what are they going to do? They hit Noah Brown over the middle. Okay, spike the ball. They still got a lot of run. Oh, we hit Tank Dell over in the sideline. Oh, clock stops. Oh, they got a couple shots to the end zone. Oh, he hits Tank Dell in the end zone. Oh, okay. Here's the thing. It's believable because C.J. Stroud has showcased to an incredible level that he is something special. I don't want to sit here and tell you it's unbelievable. We all watched it. Believe it. C.J. Stroud's special. He's unique. He's an incredible thrower of the football. And he does so many of those other things that the quarterback spot is required to do for greatness. It's incredible to watch. It's incredible to watch, and you are in every game. You have a shot every game with C.J. Stroud as the quarterback of this Texans team. Tell me who on the schedule. That's one of the best defenses in football. They were allowing 18 points a game coming in, and the Texans put 39 on them. The Buccaneers were allowing 18 points a game. They were the best red zone defense in the entire National Football League by a wide margin coming into this game. And C.J. Stroud and company went out there and eviscerated them in the second half. It was disjointed. They didn't quite have it going in the first half, didn't make things happen, wasn't in rhythm, came out in the second half, and basically were getting twice as many yards per play and just surgical in the taking apart of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are a very good defense. And in the red zone, where this Texans team has struggled and taken not just a gun to their foot, but have taken whole bazookas to their lower extremities in the red zone, they went out there and took care of freaking business in the red zone. So when you look at this performance, C.J. Stroud, this offense, that defense gets a little bit better. They get little bit of good luck on the injuries. What game can't they be in? I mean, my goodness. My goodness, what a performance. Let's get to some of your comments here. I appreciate everybody jumping in live. Appreciate you watching after the fact. Cody's in here. Appreciate you. Rick, thanks for dropping in. My guy Tim, who created that incredible Houston football logo for me. Appreciate you. El Mario, good to see you. Eddie Ant. Mike's book reviews. Mike is fantastic. If you read, you need to follow his channel. Check him out and throw him all the likes. And I certainly would appreciate that little thumbs up button. Tiff, that was a spectacular game. We looked terrible first half, second half, like a different team. A tale of two halves for this team. Tale of two halves. Disjointed, out of rhythm, and went into halftime, adjusted some things, stopped forcing things, started taking more of what was given. It was a fantastic performance. Fantastic performance. Ashton, appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Go to the top of the chain with the super chats. CJ is that dude. Great stuff, Cody. Ashton, I appreciate the comment. Appreciate the super chat as well. I greatly appreciate that. All right, let's get some of these comments here. Thriller is probably the best way to describe it. I mean, absolute thriller down to the end. Down to the end. Justin's got the super chat. He jumps to the front of the line. I could have sworn the Texans have the Browns first and third in the draft. However, mock simulators, we have their fourth. Did I miss something? They have the Eagles' third round pick. They have the the Browns' 4th-round pick. So the Eagles' 3rd-round pick is what they have. That's the 3rd-round pick the Texans have. They got it trading back out of the top of the 4th round last year. Yeah, so Browns 1st, Eagles 3rd, Browns 4th, in addition to your own 4th. Justin, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. Hey, how nice is it to not have to look at the mock draft simulators? I mean, this time last year, we were like, well, can they get the number 1 overall pick? Now, we're probably talking about playoffs. We're talking about playoffs with this team. We're talking about getting in the mix in the AFC South. We're talking about an organization that has drastically improved over where they were last year and has a lot more in front of them, especially because they may have one of the dudes, one of the special individuals at the most important spot on the team, the quarterback. How great is that? How great is that? All right, appreciate you jumping in here. Justin, saw you with the super chat. 1 Himothy 713. The Lord said, let CJ cook, and it was so. He took care of some business, that's for sure. DTG, man, that ending had me fired up. I screamed so loud, my wife heard the 3rd floor of our house. She almost had a heart attack. She probably thought you were getting assaulted, DTG. Oh, Mike's book reviews. Happy to finally make a live. Second, oh so happy Slowick decided to quit scheming like Davis Mills was still the QB. Yeah, man, they unleashed CJ Stroud, man. That was awesome. CJ special, yeah. He cooked, absolutely. Top 3 QB in the league and Rookie of the Year conversation is over. Hefe, I don't want to get too far ahead of it, but that O'Roy is going to be tough to take from CJ Stroud, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Amazing is the only way I can describe that drive. Phenomenal, incredible. I got to get a thesaurus, I'm running out of things to say about that final drive. Justin with a couple of questions. CJ having his best rookie QB season ever. It's close. You got Luck. You got Herbert. Let's see statistically how it goes. CJ frontrunner for NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Yes, he's the favorite coming into this week. He'll stay the clear favorite. He won't be an MVP candidate. And is Nico a wide receiver 1 with this team? I think the way I would look at it and say it is Nico Collins and Tank Dell together, how many 1-2 punches are better than them? Like in any given day, those guys could be the 1 or the 2. So like on any given day, Nico's the 1, Tank's the 2, Tank's the 1, Nico's the 2. How does it play out from that standpoint? How does it play out from that standpoint? So the combination of those two, that's what you're paying attention to when it comes to the top parts of this, the wide receiver 1. It's really the top 2 wide receiver conversation. Kenneth's got a super chat. Kenneth, I appreciate you. Appreciate the support and the contribution. Thank you so much, Kenneth. Very generous of you. All right. Tiff, 3 receivers with 100 yards reception, 100-plus yards receiving today. That's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, Nico Collins had a pretty impactful 54 yards, for what he brought to the table. He had a pretty impactful 54 yards, had the touchdown. Tank obviously went for 114, 2 touches. Noah Brown had the huge day, the 75-yarder for a touchdown. Dalton Schultz was fantastic. After the fumble early, Dalton Schultz comes back and bounces back. And man, just a really, really solid stick-with-it type performance from this Texans team. Crack one if you got it at the house or wherever you're watching. Just an all-around stick-with-it type performance from CJ Stroud, the offense as a whole, the defense doing enough. Like Khalil Davis comes in, plays a bunch because Hassan Ridgeway goes down. He gets a sack. They were pressuring Baker. They were taking care of the Bucs when the Bucs were trying to run the football. Like they stuck with it. Yeah, Rick was over on Houston Football saying they get 31. I thought he was crazy. The Bucs are a good defense. To do this to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense and Todd Bowles, not everybody can do this. Their season high for points allowed coming into this game were 25 points against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Texans put 39 on them, including 3 points off the foot of a guy who's not even a kicker. Jay said, I scared my kids and made them cry because I was screaming, celebrating so loud. That's a good one. It's a good spot to be in. Stoots, as long as this historic game was over, I couldn't wait to get on here and be with this group of misfits. Not a big YouTuber, but I'm really enjoying your content. Let's go. Patrick, man, thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you for jumping in. I appreciate that. What happened to the run game? It wasn't there today. Old Vita Vea was eating people's lunch. Levante David and Devin White and Shaquille Barrett, they were eating the Texans' lunch on the rushing attack. Looking who's in front of us: Browns, Pittsburgh, and the Dolphins, Bills for the wild card. Yes, it's tough crew. Got a tiebreaker over Pittsburgh, so you'd love for them to stick around, roughly at your record. You could get that tiebreaker with the Bengals next week. They're going to be in the conversation. Second best driving team history, the TJ Yates 2-minute driving in Cincy, still number one. Yeah, I wonder if this one's going to age a little bit better than the TJ Yates one. So we're going to think about it more fondly as kind of the moment that CJ Stroud he's arrived, but he arrived with a punctuation point on this one. Complete 100% team effort with all the injuries. Third string safety, a freaking backup running back making clutch field goals. Fourth string center, definitely something coaches can point to and build off of. Yeah, man, this was a war of attrition, and the Texans came out successful on the other side. Let's talk about, Tim mentioned it. Let's talk about Dare Ogunbowale's field goal. And so Kaimi Fairbairn goes down. Halftime is when the Texans find out they're not going to have their kicker. And in training camp, Frank Ross had asked if anybody had any sort of kicking experiences from an emergency standpoint. Dare Ogunbowale says, yeah, I used to be the emergency kicker back in the day. He previously hit a 45-yarder. It's what he told us after the game. And so they had Dare Ogunbowale as the emergency kicker. And you hope you never have to use him. Well, Kaimi goes down, and they're using Dare Ogunbowale for kickoffs. And you're like, okay, so they just can't. There's no more field goals. There's no more extra points. And they basically said, we're not kicking extra points because they're going for 2. And I like to have the conversation where Dare Ogunbowale goes to Frank Ross, D'Amico Ryans, and says, I can make this 30-yard field goal. I can put 3 points on the board for us. Give me the chance. And then he sailed that sumbitch through. It was right through the uprights. It's a great job by him. And just the next man up mentality is something that football teams preach. And this Texans team has had to preach it because they've had so many injuries on this team. Next man up does not include the running back who's been inactive for the past 3 weeks, it feels like. Healthy, might I add, inactive. And that does not include Dare Ogunbowale coming off the bench and kicking field goals. That's not what you're talking about when you're talking about next man up. That's above and beyond what you expect from next man up. And it's incredible. It's an incredible performance by Dare Ogunbowale. The kickoffs weren't bad either. Texans got a little help on one of them. One of those kickoffs, the laundry saved them. Tampa had a penalty, so the laundry saved him, but he had a touchback. He was putting it in the air long enough for them to go down there and make a play. It was a great shot by him. And I have to imagine that you're freaking out if you're D'Amico Ryans and you're sitting here thinking about, I got to put a running back out there to kick a field goal. And even then, that wasn't enough because you kicked the field goal. And Tampa's marching right back down the field and putting points on the board to really kind of, it felt like win the game. But they didn't because CJ Stroud had more than enough time on the clock. What a game. I mean, Dare Ogunbowale kicking a field goal would be one of the weirdest things we ever see in a football game. That's one of the weirdest things you'll ever see in a football game. Losing the last game of the season was the best thing that happened to the Texans. Yeah. They probably would have taken Bryce Young if they had the number 1. Hey, Cody, I'm the guy who contacted you about Substack on Twitter. Really enjoying your show. Hey, Happy Biscuit, thank you. Thank you for jumping in. If CJ gets into the playoffs, could he be in the MVP conversation? It'll be tough, but I mean, is it impossible? No. Is it likely? Probably not. But, you know, you take a team that was picking number 2 in the draft last year and turn them into a playoff contender, maybe. CJ passed the ball downfield is our best option. Who would have thought? Hopefully no more wild tank. Yeah, I'm done with the tank Dell rushes. I'm done with those. Mike's book reviews. Easily the craziest NFL game I've watched in over a decade. Running back kicking the go-ahead field goal. What? That's kind of what I was saying. I was like, they're going to let him kick the field goal? That's crazy. That's crazy. Someone says, yeah, imagine if the Texans could run the football. That is quite the thing to imagine. That is quite the thing to imagine. I can't believe we won after such a disadvantage. Yeah, the kicker goes down. You kind of put yourself in a little bit of a hole coming out of the first half. Man. I don't know about this, JJ. We need to cut Kaimi, go the rest of the way without a kicker. I don't know about all that. I do wonder how long Kaimi's down. You go find a free agent kicker. How good is that guy? You know, how much do you trust him? You know. Great win today, no doubt. I'm nervous about who won't be there next week. FYI, Hawkeye strikes again. Yeah, we were trying to figure out which member of the Avengers CJ Stroud was in the preseason. Sean G came up with Hawkeye, and it's pretty apt. It's pretty apt. Let me see if I could go through all the injuries in this game here. So in the course of the game, they lost Kaimi Fairbairn. They lost Hassan Ridgeway. They lost Jimmy Ward. They lost John Mechie. They lost Jake Hansen. I'm trying to scroll through the Texans Twitter to see if I'm missing anybody. But it's all it is just CJ Stroud just hitting the game winner. Just a number of guys got banged up on this one. So Ridgeway out, Hansen out, MJ Stewart, who's filling in for Jimmy Ward, he goes down. So you got the guy with 15 names as one of the starting safeties, DeAndre Houston Carson. He's one of the starting safeties. Like gutty performance. And that's kind of where I want to talk about this defense a little bit. Let's put that last drive into a bit of, that last drive and really the second half into a little bit of context. They're down a lot of guys. Will Anderson limps off the field in the final drive. Is not on the field for the final couple of plays. Like, they're down quite a few dudes in the second half. So I'm not going to crush them on defense. You still expect the guys that are there to make the plays, but that defense is not quite the defense the Texans typically have out there in that second half. Sean, good to see you. What an emotional roller coaster. Was losing it when we didn't recover the fumble before their go-ahead score. Yeah, the ball pops out. Mike Evans advances it. That thankfully cost the Buccaneers a timeout. But, man, woo. Good things happen when you throw the ball on first down. Yeah, they decided to throw the football a lot more. A lot more. Stroud the Magnificent. I like that. Red Raiders going to win on Thursday. Texans win today. Hell of a weekend. YouTube user, you're right. How did you get that name? It's a good name. You're right. I don't think I've been this satisfied with a victory in our team's history. It's because I finally feel there's a real Super Bowl direction at quarterback with CJ Stroud. Super Bowl direction and quarterback with CJ Stroud as our quarterback. That's the biggest thing coming out of this game. This dude is unique. he is special. He is a one-of-a-kind type of player. He can put the ball almost anywhere he wants. The moment doesn't faze him. The small things in the quarterbacking element of it are impressive and awesome. Stroud is a dude. That's the biggest thing coming out of this. The absolute biggest thing. Can't Johnson just punt the kickoffs? Yeah, I think there's some intricacies that we got to figure out on this. What can Cam Johnston do and what can't Cam Johnston do? I just hope Kaimi's all right, but shout out to Daria for making that field goal. Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. All right, Streaks, I see your comment. I'll work on that. Gwinnett Gamer. Cody loved the streams from the UK. Nobody to talk with about how amazing this game was. I'm so glad I can share the excitement right here with you. Love the channel. Gwent, I appreciate you checking us out, man. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're having some fun, man. Just kicking it around. David Ortiz, East Texas Poppy, my guy. A lot was shown today. Now we should have details, little things to adjust. We're making the damn pieces work, but it's starting to look like a football's coming back to Houston slowly but surely. Yeah, man. When is the last time you felt this good about the Houston Texans? It's been a long time. It's been a really long time. Probably Deshaun Watson playoff success. 2019. It's probably been a long time. Probably 24-0 against Kansas City is the last time you felt this good about the Houston Texans. And again, this performance against this defense is a really impressive one. It's one of the better defenses at some of the stuff that the Texans struggle with. Texans struggle in the red zone. First time they got in the red zone, boom, right to the end zone. There at the end, in the red zone, boom, game-winning touchdown in the end zone. Earthworm Slim, air raid. Yeah, get some of them Mike Leach principles in there. Honor coach. Drew Carter, defense sucked badly. Yeah, it was not good. That's a decent Buccaneers group. They have not been super consistent the past 3 games where they've lost. So to see them kind of get things going against you, not great, but some of that's just the flat out injuries. Like you're down to your 4th string safeties. You're just running guys out there that have no business playing large amounts of snaps in the spots that they're playing, but the injuries forced them in there. No update on Will Anderson Jr. I would think our only real true update probably shows up on Wednesday at practice. Mike's book reviews ask, what will it take to get Titus back at tackle? Feels like a waste of his talents playing him at guard. Yeah, I don't know that this is happening anytime soon. They seem content with how the offensive line operates. It pass protects really well. It doesn't run block really well. And I don't know that Josh Jones jumping in there for Titus really drastically improves the rushing attack. It's like one offensive lineman's not going to change things. And I do wonder if they're getting comfortable with this setup. If they were going to change Titus, this was the week to do it because you had the new center, you would have made the change. And there's still some moments where you're like, Titus, what are we doing? But he and Michael Dieter and Shaq Mason, they had a tough draw today. A real tough draw today. Vita Villa, I'm talking with Titus after the game, he believes Villa's easily 400 pounds. He doesn't move like he's 400 pounds. He is a thick boy, and he moves great. He tosses dudes around. He gets off of blocks really well. And I truly believe, I don't have this on record for sure, I truly believe Titus Howard trying to block Vita Vea is probably one of, if not the heaviest plays in Texans history. Especially if Villa is 400 pounds. Titus is probably 350. I know he's listed at like 320. He's probably 350. You're talking about 750 pounds colliding on that offensive line. But to answer Mike's book reviews question, I don't think Titus is going back to tackle anytime soon. I really don't. I don't believe that's something that they want to do just yet. If it gets to that, an injury pops up, something like that, yes. But it seems to me they're content with the combination of Fant at right and Titus at left guard, and that being better than Titus at right tackle and Josh Jones at left guard. If Kendrick Green was still available, then perhaps Kendrick Green. If Kendrick Green was still available, perhaps that's the guy you'd put at left guard. But with Josh Jones, I don't know that he's that much better at left guard than Titus Howard is. In fact, I would say that I don't believe him to be better than Titus Howard at left guard. Darth Derp with the super chat. You go to the front of the line with the super chats. The Texans win, the Cowboys lose. What a great day. CJ is him. Yeah, CJ is fantastic. Thank you for the super chat, Darth Derp. The Cowboys looked like they got a little close there at the end. I was watching that out the corner of my eye. Man. Whew. I never imagined 470 yards in my best case scenario for CJ Stroud. Yeah, I didn't think he was. I mean, I knew he was capable of some big things. I didn't know he could go for almost 500. The announcers didn't think the play where Singletary tossed the ball to Stroud was a slow it called play. What do you think? I think it was. I think it was one of those plays where if you see this, do this. And so they saw the right thing, and so they were able to do the right thing in that moment. I would say probably it's a Singletary feel call. Yes, the Texans will absolutely be looking for a veteran kicker this week. I don't know who that guy's going to be. You can't trade for anybody. Trade deadline's over, so it's going to have to be one of those free agents that's out there. They had like a rookie from Arkansas in training camp, but I don't believe they want to go with him. They would probably go with a veteran who's been around a little bit. But yeah, they'll go out there and get a guy. I don't believe Kaimi's back real soon. Zinister. Yo, Cody, how satisfying was it to see us actually finish and win a game in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter? Yeah, that's mission accomplished. Now you got to do that over and over and over and over again. Or better yet, the defense makes the plays, so you're not having to make those plays, and you're just kneeling the ball out. And CJ and company get to kneel the ball out, and the other team's using their timeouts trying to get the ball back. That's what you ideally want. Like the defense, last 4 games, defense had the opportunity to close it out for the Texans. They got 3 L's, and they got 1 victory. They took care of the Saints when the offense was struggling in the second half. The defense took care of business. But the offense did their job the past few weeks. The offense definitely did the job today. Woo! Definitely did the job today. I'm trying to get to as many comments as I can. I appreciate everybody jumping in here. If you have something that you desperately want to get to, please send in a super chat. I will jump into the front of the line. 713 TX Skills. This was the game the city needed to fully buy into CJ and the coaching staff to finally turn things around for the organization. Just solidified it indeed. It feels that way. It definitely feels like the Texans are, as they're showing the Texans highlights on the Sunday Night Football right now. Football Night in America. It's the tank play. Woo! Tank Dell. 8 up. Davis. 8 him up. They didn't do did they do that today? I didn't see that today. They even had a story about it on ESPN. They didn't do I don't know what's it called? The dance that CJ does? I can't do it. I clearly cannot do it. I do not have the rhythm capable of doing that. H-Town's Ultimate. Please swing my booth for some free Red Diamond iced tea next time. I need a pick, Big Cody. We'll see what I can do. I don't really see anyone the rest of the schedule that scares me other than maybe the Bengals. But if we play like we did today on offense, I feel good about that game. The Bengals are tough. They're getting ready to play Sunday Night Football against this Bills team. The Bengals are tough. That's the biggest thing coming out of this game is confidence for this organization, this team with CJ Stroud. He's really good. And you're not out of games when you have him throwing the football. And he elevates. Clearly, he's taken Nico Collins to a whole other level. Unlocked Nico Collins' true potential. Tank Dell doesn't look like a rookie. He's playing like a big-time player. Michael Dieter, after the game, talking to him in the locker room, somebody asked him, how cool is it to see all these young guys having that success? And he's like, well, they don't play like young guys. They don't act like young guys. They don't operate like young guys. They're having success because they have taken that role and run with it. They've had that approach of a veteran, not a young guy trying to make his early impressions in the league. 713 again. Pour a strong one, Stoots, for this historic game of the Texans. Hopefully many more to come in this city, my guy. Certainly. Time to become buyers going forward. Yeah, they're going to spend money in free agency this year. They're going to spend money. It's going to be a shootout against the Bengals. I'd love to know how much that number changed based off how the Texans performed today. Be interested to see how the Bengals do tonight against Buffalo. John, that's a little early. We haven't even seen these guys play yet. The defense was trying to lose us the game. Absolutely putrid. Thank God we have CJ. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a tall order to have in those final plays, those final drives where you're missing your starting safety, your backup safety in that moment. You're missing Will Anderson on that final drive because he came out with the injury. You're missing Hassan Ridgeway. You don't have Sheldon Rankins, who's a pass rush guy for you from the defensive tackle spot. Your linebackers have been run all over the field. They're tired. That was a tough. That's a tough offense to stop in that situation. The Texans didn't do it. But the offense picks you up. That's part of it. Like when the offense doesn't get it done, the defense needs to close games out. They didn't do that against Atlanta. Okay. They didn't do that against the Panthers. And when the defense can't do it, the offense needs to have that performance. They did that against Atlanta. The offense put them in a position to succeed. The defense didn't close it out. Okay. Offense didn't have it against New Orleans. Defense closes it out. Offense doesn't have it against Carolina, and defense doesn't have it. You lose to the Carolina Panthers, who looked awful today. So it's like you got to be able to pick each other up on that side. And to really, another element of this is the bounce back from the first half where the defense looked bad, the offense looked bad, and the special teams looked bad. Like they did not play well in the first half, and they came out in the second half and held the Buccaneers to a field goal on that first drive. Then it was Noah Brown, 75 yards, which tanked Dell with the wide receiver block of the season, cracking back on whoever that defender was. Then they hold him to another field goal. Texans score. Then they force a punt. Texans score. Like, the defense did enough in the second half to kind of keep it within range. So for the offense, and the offense finished it off. Hackashack, can we get Wimby at running back? He can fall forward after the handoff, average more than Pierce or Motor. Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, I got a hunch that he'd be pretty easy to push when it comes to the pile. Push back, I mean. Not a lot of meat on Victor Wembanyama's bones. But yeah, just a little tuck and dive forward once he gets the ball. It would be pretty. I wonder what his hand looks like holding the damn football. Yeah, this is a big question. Some of these are hamstrings, some of these are ribs. I don't know what Will Anderson's injury is. It happened so late in the game, it never got announced what he went down with. But he was on one leg hobbling off, and they had him jumping off, like hobbling off the field, because if he stays down in the field, they had to burn a timeout. So toughness by Will Anderson hobbling off the field there, because he was able to save the Texans from using a timeout. Teeman has a super chat. What I find crazy, we had no kickers, so Tampa knew we had to get a TD every drive, and CJ still did it. We have our QB. Now, to be fair, the Texans did hit that one field goal. They did hit the one field goal. It's a good job by Dare Ogunbowale. But yeah, I mean, Tampa ran the ball a couple times when I didn't expect them to run the ball. Tampa played some off coverage when I didn't expect them to play off coverage. They didn't bring as much heat as it felt like they were supposed to as one of the blitz-heavy teams in the league. Real bad day for Tampa. That's a tough plane ride home they've got. Yeah, tough plane ride home. Madison Medina, you think the way Dalton Schultz is playing deserves a contract extension? Well, let me tell you, Dalton Schultz is putting it together, man. Dalton Schultz is having himself a really nice stretch here. It took him a minute to get acclimated. Fumble today notwithstanding. You know, he rolled into this thing with 3 touchdowns. He adds the touchdown on 3rd down. Really nice play. 130 yards, 10 receptions. A huge day for Dalton Schultz. I'd have the conversation with him. I would have the conversation with him. You know, he turned down a contract extension with the Cowboys, then hit the free agency, and free agency wasn't kind. So I'd have the conversation. If we had Kaimi, do we settle for field goals and lose? Hackashak, appreciate the super chat. No, because they scored. I mean, well, I suppose on 4th and 9, the Dalton Schultz, maybe you probably kick a field goal there. Maybe you probably kick a field goal there on 4th and 9 instead of going for it. But, you know, you operate with maybe a little bit more clock burning if you have Kaimi. It's a good question. I gotta said myself, we should extend Dalton. Yeah, if both sides want to have a conversation about it, sure. No from Houston. That was Andrew Beck last week with the fumble. It was tight ends back-to-back weeks with the fumble, but it was Beck last week. It was Schultz this week. And then CJ Stroud. Hey, you know, the things that QBs are important, you know, the things that are important about quarterbacks. Team organization, mood, mentality, things like that. CJ Stroud to Dalton Schultz after the interception. You're going to be big for us today. I need you. Don't get your head down. We'll take care of it. And then he goes out there and has 9 more catches for however many more yards and a touchdown. Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, you get a couple extra points because you kick the extra point versus not getting the 2-point conversions. It's tough to say. Tough to say exactly how having Kaimi would have changed some things. Yeah, how about Dieter filling in at center admirably? That's a really good performance by Michael Dieter. You know, I have to go back and pay a little bit closer attention to specifically just him. And he said that he thought there was a lot that he could have cleaned up from that performance. But Dieter, with a really solid performance against a tough situation. Kalijah Cansey's a first-round pick, a defensive tackle. Vita Vea is one of the best defensive tackles in all of football. And Dieter held up nicely. You know, the rushing attack is a big issue. The rushing attack is something that's not going to fix itself anytime soon. But Dieter played a nice game, and I mean, did you notice a giant drop off? I didn't. I don't know about this. This is something Frank Ross going to have to explain on Thursday when he talks, or maybe D'Amico Ryans the next couple of days. Like, I don't know what Cam Johnston is capable of doing because he didn't come up as a traditional kicker. He came up in Australian rules. So I don't know what he's comfortable doing, what he's capable of doing. I never saw him go to the practice net, so he clearly is not an option for them. John Ryan says he knew the Texans were going to win when he saw Dare Agumbawale in the game kicking. All right, well, I didn't feel that way, John, but you had quite the vibe there. Look at this. Texas Sports Unfiltered. This is my good buddy BK, Brad Kellner, used to be on the Wheelhouse with me on ESPN 97.5. If you're a Longhorns fan, you cannot miss Texas Sports Unfiltered. My guy BK and his whole crew do a great, great job over there covering the Longhorns. Hoop season is right around the corner. I guarantee you nobody's covering Texas basketball better than BK and his crew over there at Texas Sports Unfiltered. Check them out if you're a Longhorn fan. It is a must-watch resource for you. And BK is very nice to ask for likes from me. Yeah, thumbs up button. Thumbs up button down there. A little air raid. The Air Slowick. Do we like Air Slowick or do we like Air Bobby? I like Air Bobby. Air Bobby's a fun one. Air Bobby, Air Slow, Slow Air. Something. It's the ball in Aussie rules football is like a rugby ball, much easier to drop kick. The NFL ball is pointy, not very good for drop kicks. Okay, Jim, thank you. Do they do tee kicking? I don't know anything about Aussie rules football. Darwin, if we were healthy on the line, run the ball better, have 2 more wins right now. I mean, I'm not going to say running the football is what kept them from winning a couple of games. If the defense made a play here or there, you got a couple more wins. So, I mean, there's a multitude of things in this start to the season, these 8 games. There's a multitude of things that could very easily flip this thing to the Texans have a lot less wins. It's very easy flip this thing to the Texans have a couple more wins. Like it's been a very fragile season to an extent. Like if Derek Carr could get his head out of his ass, you'd probably lose the Saints game. If the defense makes 2 more plays than what they made, you probably beat the Falcons and beat the Panthers. Like it's been a very fickle 8 weeks. You'd love to put together this type of passing performance, obviously every week, but just be an efficient passing team for four quarters and then have the defense play well and really put the other team, behind the 8 ball in these games. But you haven't been able to put a complete game together. But you've been able to win some of these games. So, you can start to see things growing and building week to week. Like this team does not win this game 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Hell, this team doesn't win this game a week ago. They couldn't move the ball through the air last week. Even when they decided to throw the football, they weren't moving the ball through the air in a good way. It wasn't as efficient as they eventually started moving the ball in the second half. I was talking with Brandon Scott, who does a lot of coverage for Sports Radio 610, as well as a lot of coverage for the Cron as well. 32 plays and 144 yards in the first half. 30 plays, 352 yards in the second half. I mean, they figured out a bunch of stuff that was working and got after it. And primarily it was because they threw the ball more with C.J. Stroud, trusted him on early downs, trusted him to go out there and make plays, and he did. And that's what happens when a guy plays up to that level. Like C.J. Stroud said it in the postgame. They don't treat me like a rookie. And there are a lot of coaches, especially defensive-minded head coaches or guys who are first-time play callers that would have turtled a little bit, been a bit more conservative, played it a little bit more safe. Hell no. Bobby Slowick, C.J. Stroud, slinging that damn thing all over the damn field. So, and it was Air Bobby sounds terrible. Air Slowick doesn't sound great, though. When he's good, look, Cody started the ugly Bobby thing and took it right away. When he's good, he's beautiful Bobby Slowick. Shout out to beautiful Bobby Eaton, R.I.P. Ride shift, dude. Tank Dell was a steal. You know what? You're right. Let's go look at the wide receivers that got drafted before Tank Dell. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Dell's better than him right now. Quentin Johnston, Dell's better than him right now. Zay Flowers, Dell is as good, maybe better than him right now. Jordan Addison, they're about equal. Addison's been a freak. Jonathan Mingo, Dell's better. Jaden Reed, Dell's better. Rashee Rice, Dell's better. Can you freaking imagine? Patrick Mahomes with Tank Dell? Oh, wait. CJ Stroud's getting in the ball just fine. You don't need Patrick Mahomes to get him the ball. Marvin Mims, Dell's been better. Great job by Nick Caserio to grab Tank Dell. Great job by the offense to identify how they could use him. Great job by Dell to basically beg the organization to keep him around. He made friends with CJ Stroud. Stroud wanted him. Great job all around to have Tank Dell contributing the way he's contributing. Great job. Is there any more records y'all would love to see CJ break? All of them? Single season franchise passing yards, touchdowns, all of those things. The first TD pass to Tank Dell was a beauty. Man, CJ dropped some beauties in there. Some beauties in there. Okay, we're trying to figure out what to call the Texans air raids. Air slow from Mickey Fender. This is good. Airwick, which I think is an actual brand of like the automatic smell good stuff. Air BS, which is pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I like that one. This is maybe the only bad thing Tank Dell's done all year. I wish you would have kept the 13 so we could have the 713 connection. Yeah, it's probably the only bad thing Tank Dell's done. Teaming with another super chat. Appreciate you. You're jumping to the front of the line, team, and thank you. Ever since the Atlanta game, our run defense has been a lot better. I don't think we've given up 100 yards for like 5 weeks. This is a defense and a defensive line that is built to stop the rushing attacks. This is a team that is built to kick people's ass on the ground. From the edges to the defensive tackles to the linebackers. How about Denzel Perryman getting the bogus flag on him? What kind of bull crap was that? That was totally bogus. I couldn't believe that the official that threw the flag was the near side line judge. It wasn't like the back judge. It was the near side line judge. He wasn't even near the play. And he's the only one that threw the flag. That was an atrocious personal foul call on Denzel Perryman. Crack one if you got it. It's a really bad job by the officials on that one. But yeah, this rush defense is really good. They got to kind of get home just a little bit. Got to get home just a little bit more on the pass rush stuff. Got to get a little tighter, tighten some things up, just get home a little bit more. A little bit more. Somebody said they don't remember Will Anderson ending up with a sack. So he ended up with two half a sacks. That's what he ended up with. Let me see exactly where they are. So he ended up with so he got a sack in the first quarter. He got a sack in the first quarter because it was well, no, I guess they declined the illegal contact. Where did Will Anderson get his sacks? He officially ended up with one sack. He split one with Khalil Davis. And I'm looking at the play sheet right now. I have to go back and find the exact thing, but he had officially ended up with one sack, which was great if you were betting Will Anderson to get a sack today. More than half a sack. This guy. Like this guy. So Christian Harris, I thought he played awful for like the first quarter and change, and then something just snapped, and he turned into an absolute monster for the rest of this game. He was flying around. He had tackles for a loss. He had stuffs. He was tackling guys, right after they got the ball at the line of scrimmage for short gains. Harris started real bad and just a great bounce back effort in the game from Christian Harris. And he ended up playing probably his best game as a professional for the Houston Texans. That's what it felt like to me. I felt like he ended up playing his best game as a professional for the Houston Texans. Nathan checking in. Cody, I'm usually busy on Sunday nights, but I'm able to make one of your streams. Today's game is one of the most enjoyable games of all time. Stroud is him. He's getting him-esque performances being put together by CJ Stroud. Oh, this is another one, Rafael. Thank you for pointing this one out. The holding call on Fant was bogus too. Yeah, that was a bad call as well. Now, Laramie had a holding call right after that, but the Fant call was bad. The ebbs and flows, the swings of this game are just so, man, it was up and down, up and down, up and down. Streaks, we think Toto lost his job today to Harris after the Otten touchdown on him and the play of Harris. I mean, the different positions, they play different positions as the linebacker. And Toto has been put in some difficult spots from a coverage standpoint. Tight ends eat this team alive. Hurst had a touchdown last week. Otten had 2 touchdowns today. Durham Smythe in the preseason. Jimmy Graham in the preseason. Tight ends eat this defense alive. A lot of times because you can work the middle of the field with them because other stuff gets covered. But sometimes you just end up with Henry Tu'o on the guy, and he's not there. He can't defend. He can't defend those tight ends on a consistent basis. Dom from Jersey. Any update on Derek Stingley? Nelson Allen's been real good, but Mike Evans made him look like a little boy today. I have to rewatch that play, and I wonder if it was one of those plays similar to the Rashid Shaheed play where there was supposed to be some help over the top for Steven Nelson. I have to go back and look at that one, but that was the only giant play Mike Evans had. Probably should have been a touchdown. They rolled him down to 1, whatever. But that was the only big play Mike Evans had. They went to him on 3rd down in the key spot. Mike Evans on 3rd down is pretty damn tough to stop. Let's see, what did he end up with on the day? 4 catches for 87 yards with 53 of them coming on that one. I mean, Evans is a freak. He's going to do that to anybody. Stingley's not close. So he's not close. Those 2 are the future linebackers for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, Perriman's a free agent at the end of the year. Cashman's a free agent right now. Could you make a conversation to extend 1 or 2 of those guys? Sure. But, Harris and To'o, those are guys that aren't going anywhere right now. Chewy says, I tried to listen to the game work, only caught bits in the first half. Everything at work went downhill. Had to set it to record. I'm watching it now and listen to Professor Stoots. I am far from Professor Stoots, although my eyes did get tired at one point today, and I did have to throw the old glasses on, which are missing right now. But you're kind to say the kind things, Chewy. Yeah, Dare Ogunbowale. I mean, CJ Stroud got the game ball, rightfully so, but I'd give an additional game ball to Dare Ogunbowale. That's another thing too. Could have had more points. Stroud had to miss the tank early. Missed a play here or there. Like, there could be a little bit more out there for this offense. All right, so in conclusion, to wrap this up, kind of put a little bow on this and then have a bunch more stuff coming on the YouTube channel for you. The impressive elements of today, obviously CJ Stroud's the top one. But the offense, defense, and special teams playing poorly in the first half, keeping it within a score, and coming out in the second half, and all elements of all 3 elements playing pretty well or having a moment or 2 in the second half. That's huge. The trust that CJ Stroud has to throw the ball to anybody and everybody is incredible. The confidence that CJ Stroud has built into this team and organization now is something that we haven't seen since Deshaun Watson's 2017 campaign, then 2019 campaign. And there's still just tiny things to clean up on defense that I feel like if they just cleaned up a few of those things all at the same time, they'd make a lot more plays. Dom in Jersey wants to weigh in on the video. What's going?
My man, what a day. I didn't mean to be negative with the Nelson comment. It was more me trying to get info on you out of Stingley. What's going on there? Because we don't hear anything as fans, man.
If I had something to tell you, I'd tell you he ain't close. I'll tell you that much.
Not good. All right, so listen, quick things from today. CJ Stroud, unbelievable. I tweeted you early in the game. This is the second week in a row I noticed. I don't know if he's like shuffling his feet a little more than he was in the beginning weeks, but he's just missing those deep balls. And something happened. He either read my tweet to you at halftime or something, but dude, he was dropping beauties in there. It was like the old Stroud. He just seemed like he was back to playing loose, and I think it was finally about time that Slowick got away from the run game. CJ, you heard him. He said, they don't treat me like a rookie, like they trust me.
Yeah.
So that was big. Quick question. What was the vibes like, Cody? Because early on, that place seemed dead.
It was dead early. And then you kind of felt the crescendo build a little bit. You're trailing at halftime. That's not great. You come out of once Noah Brown hit the 75-yarder, crowd was back in.
That was awesome.
Crowd was back in. They started getting loud on defense. They were quiet on offense, exploded whenever the Texans did something good. But, yeah, Noah Brown's big play kind of got everybody back into it.
So here's the thing. Now, obviously, again, I'm over the moon about today. But I have expectations for this team now. This is no longer like that feel-good story for me. So I'm already thinking Cincinnati right now. So my concern, though, Cody, this was almost the third game that D'Amico's defense on the final drives has been an issue.
Yeah.
This is almost the third game that it cost us because I'm telling you right now, we're going to go back at the end of the season. You and I are going to talk. We're going to say the Atlanta game, the Carolina game, and almost this game today killed us. And the defense it's too soft at the end. Somebody tweeted a photo of him and Romeo Crennel next to each other, like a meme.
Come on.
Come on. It's too early for that. But what are you seeing on those final drives that you like? What is the benefit of getting so soft on those final drives?
I probably would look at today's final drive on defense with a different light than the previous two, because no Jimmy Ward, no MJ Stewart, who's Jimmy Ward's backup, no Will Anderson by the middle of the drive. He hobbled off.
Yeah.
No Sheldon Rankins. And it's not quite the defense that you had those other couple of times you were on the field. I don't know. D'Amico Ryan said it was execution last week. It's just guys have to do this or do that. Matt Burke talked about it from a specific standpoint of this. If you look at one play, a missed tackle where a guy goes for, he falls forward for 4 yards is like a big difference maker.
Right.
It's like the screenplay to Adam Thielen last week. He's like, okay, guy falls forward for 4 yards and it's 4th and 2 instead of 4th and 6.
Right.
It's just small things. And I don't know that D'Amico's calling them any different, but maybe that's the conversation point you need to have, is that maybe you do call them a little bit different. But today he didn't have his full complement of guys.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking at this one different. Then I would look at Atlanta. Then I would look at, even it's worth looking at New Orleans and seeing how much of it was the Texans making a play and how much of it was New Orleans just not able to make a play. And then obviously Carolina as well. These the whole NFC South tour for D'Amico Ryans' defense has been, the finish to the games have been pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, I agree. One last thing before I let you go, Cody. I'm a Dameon Pierce guy.
Yep.
Personally, I think he's been catching a lot of heat on social media this year. Rightfully so. He's not playing his best. But I think he also gives us a lot of yards that other backs wouldn't this year with the way this blocking is going. So I don't know if you're in the camp I'm in of I kind of want to put to rest the Dameon Pierce nonsense. Do I think he's a superstar? Probably not. I think there's a few handful of guys who are special running backs, but Cody, this blocking's an issue, man.
You said it. I mean, they're not a good run blocking team.
No.
You know, and one guy's not going to change that either. Like they're like if Josh Jones was freaking Quentin Nelson, like yeah, maybe that would change things. But like that's your option at left guard. If you don't play Titus at left guard and you play him at right tackle, Josh Jones is your left guard. Josh Jones was horrible in Arizona when he played guard. Like he played guard for half a game for the Texans this year. Like they pay Titus a gazillion dollars. He's not going to come out of the lineup. And Fant has not been bad. Until Fant is bad or hurt, Titus is not going back out to right tackle. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's they got to try different scheme stuff. I don't know if it's just that they're not winning one-on-ones. They cannot run the football. And 3 weeks ago it was the offensive line blocked well enough for us to run the ball well. Well, the offensive line did not block well enough for you to run the football well this game.
No, and I'll tell you what, while Fant hasn't been an issue, I will say I noticed him more today than other weeks, which is never a good thing. Yep. And actually, one last question that I'm running. Juice Scruggs update. What's going on there? I've never seen a lineman out this much with a hammy.
I think he practices this week.
Okay.
And if he does practice, that doesn't mean for sure he's back in. But I would think he probably needs a little bit more practice than just 3 days to get in the lineup.
All right, Cody. Appreciate you. Appreciate the time, man.
Dom from Jersey, thank you for jumping in. You want to jump in like Dom from Jersey? It's at the top of the chat if you would like to jump in. Yeah, I have to go back and take a deeper dive into these last 4 defensive drives. 1 successful, 3 failures from the defense, but a deeper dive is necessary. A deeper dive is necessary on those final drives. And I would think that, too, D'Amico Ryans is probably combing through this thing trying to figure out, hey, what's going on here? Why can't I make this in the game stuff work? All right, a couple more here. Streaks. I think it's big plays pot up. Stroud's confidence is astronomical. This guy is one of the best quarterbacks. The great ones and even good quarterbacks and even an average guy that has a great day, they build on offensive success so well. Stroud is in a rhythm. This offense just hums, man. This offense, it just hums when they get in a rhythm. Yeah, there might be an element to this. Dad Channel says the O-line's not athletic enough to run zone. There's maybe a little bit of element of this. Nathan Winters, Cody, we enjoy the win that's on to Cincinnati. That's a famous Belichick moment. Yeah, we're on to Cincinnati. Bill, you got blown out. Blah 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 blah. We're on to Cincinnati. It's probably one of the best Bill Belichick podium moments ever. Ever. All right. Housekeeping. Houston football. The website where I do all my writing. Links in the description down below. If you want a free week, email me. Email me at codystoots@gmail.com. CODYSTOOTS@gmail.com. If you want a free week, email me. I'll give you a free week for watching the YouTube. And then you can decide if you want to sign up after that. $7 a month. If you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. $7 a month. I promise you, I put in so much work. I'll make your money worth it. I will make your money worth it. You go sign up at Houston Football. Links in the description down below. If you want a free week, email me. I'll give you a free week. $7 a month. The live from the other night, the Cabo Bob's giveaway is still active. Go check it out. Go check out the live from the other night, getting ready for this game. Find out how to enter into the Cabo Bob's giveaway. All right? That giveaway will end this week. We'll send out some Cabo Bob's gift cards to the lucky winners. But you got to go watch the other stream. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Go watch the other stream. It's pretty easy to figure out. It's in the description of the other stream. Go check it out. Hats on the way. New stickers on the way. And I came up with a new sticker design in the middle of this game. You will not want to miss this one. You will want those stickers. So new stickers. Hats are on the way, Houston football hats. And a lot of fun stuff planned for the YouTube, man. A lot of fun stuff planned for the YouTube. A lot of fun stuff planned at Houston football. The Twitter account pops off at Cody_Stoots on Twitter for all that fun stuff. Man, I have so much fun talking about this team. And days like today make it so fun. So fun. Jeffrey, do you charge your year-long membership monthly or all at once? Yeah, so the year-long hits all at once. It's $70 for the year, but again, that's 2 months free. A couple more. Running game, how do we get more balanced? You block better. You block better, and you just execute better. I mean, I'm in favor of executing the rushing attack sometimes, but you just got to block better. Right, future Casario go hard in free agency now. The franchise QB, hell yeah, that'll be fun to watch. That'll be fun to watch. Pat McAfee ain't leaving his millions of dollars on TV to come kick for the Texans. That ain't happening. Okay, plenty of stuff coming up on the YouTube. Thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Send your friends the channel. I feel like we do a really good job on here. Really enjoy talking about the Texans with all of y'all. Have a blast. Chop it up. Keep it laid back. Give you some good info. Good breakdowns during the week. Lives mixed with recorded stuff. So plenty of fun stuff on the channel. Check out Houston football. Get in the description. Lots of fun stuff in the description. Check out the Cabo Bob's raffle at the other live from the other night. Plenty of fun stuff. Thank you, everybody, for checking in on the live, watching the fun one today. We finish the live streams the same way each and every time. It's my hope for you. It's my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thank you, everybody.